gifts they might get, the bad cologne, the socks, another tie. The homemade cards are cute, though. But, for black fathers in America, it's no laughing matter because many experts say there's a crisis when it comes to black fathers in this country. Now, a study done by the Pew Research Center says 1 out of every 4 fathers live separately from their children. So there's more than 20 million kids who don't have dad at home. And it gets even more startling by race. 21% of white dads live away from their kids. And the number more than doubles to 44% when you talk about African-American fathers. So we're going to talk about that and just the importance of being a dad. We're happy to have with us 2 special guests. One, actor, author, Tyrese Gibson, joining us from Los Angeles. Also with us, Eric Payne. He's from New York City, now calls Atlanta home. He's written a book called Dad as Easy as ABC, the 26 do's and don'ts about being a dad. He's a daddy blogger as well. And to lay everything out there, Eric, he's the father of a 17-year-old stepson. His daughter, toddler, 6 years old, love that age. Tyrese has a 5-year-old daughter. So and Eric, I'll start with you. Let's get right to that crisis word. Do you agree with that sentiment, that there's a crisis with black fathers in this country?
I do think that there's a crisis. I mean, it's not anything that I'm interested in sensationalizing, but I do, with that statistic alone, that's something to be concerned about.
Right. It's an eye-opening number. Tyrese, let's hit you on this one, because even if dad is not home, it's about involvement with our kids. I mean, it's about seeing them and talking to them daily and walking through life with them, right?
Right. Well, I mean, listen, I have a saying that excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. And there's plenty of black men in particular who got plenty of excuses as to why they're not involved and more, around their children. But I also want to address this, which a lot of people don't talk about. How often is that black father or father in general reaching out, trying to get access to his kids? And because you're dealing with an ex-wife, girlfriend, mother of your child, fiance, who's now bitter and hostile and angry because the relationship is no longer, who's going above and beyond to use that resentment to block access from the father getting to the child.
So then that speaks to, and I want to hit both of you, but Tyrese, I'll stay with you. We as dads, and especially it sounds like in the African-American community, have to fight for our kids, have to fight for time with our kids because we know how important it is, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's so many black fathers that are locked up and in prison. That's why we're amongst the lost generation. I think ultimately, if you don't have a father to look up to, then you're gonna probably gravitate towards the most prominent, influential black male in your neighborhood, and they end up being influenced by the Crips, the Bloods, and the thugs that are in their neighborhood because they're looking for someone to look up to.
Wow. And Eric, what Tyrese is talking about, so important, the influence. And especially when you talk about growing boys, the sons that we have. Number one, is dad the good role model? And if dad isn't around, then who is the role model? Who is the one that young man is looking up to be like down the road?
Right. Well, it takes a village. I mean, no doubt, even with dad in the picture. So I think sometimes that you have to corral in the pastor or the uncles, if there are uncles, the older cousins. You just bring in that village experience, or even family friends that are males that feel that they, you need to ask those people to step up and get involved to shape this child.
Tyrese, in the black community, do men challenge other men to be the dads they need to be and help them in that process?
Absolutely. I've been a part of those type of conversations. I've had many of those conversations. Like I said, excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. If you go above and beyond to do any means necessary as a father to get access to your kids, even if you got to go through the court system. Most black fathers don't want to go to court to fight for them kids because they got other cases pending. So why would you want to go to court to fight for your kids? I think ultimately you are supposed to do any means necessary, because when you don't, as a black father, get involved in your little girls' lives or your little boys' lives specifically, then you're adding to the lost generation.
Wow. Eric, let's get you to weigh in on that one.
This is an emergency live. I cannot sleep. it's been one thing after another, after another, after another. I feel like I've been had. I feel like I've been used. I feel like when I look back in my life as a father, what more can I do to help my children live a better life? Forget the Umar stuff for a second, because that stuff turns on its head too damn quick. I mean, you got many of people who just hate him for what he speaks of and just what he portrays himself to be, but ultimately, you have to practice what you preach. Me personally, I'm sick of the internet. I'm sick of just listening to people scallywag and drag the people that you hate most, but yet you don't bother to look yourself in the mirror, see what you done wrong. So that's what I did. I asked my children a question. I asked my daughter, who is 13, I asked, am I, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, am I a good father? And she said, basically, yes. She didn't give a number. I said, is there some things that I could possibly work on for me to get better with you? And she said, well, Dad, you cuss a lot. I said, is that it? She said, that's it. I went to my son just like 10 minutes ago, and I asked him the same question. And he said, yeah, you're a good dad. You're a great dad. And Jesus Christ. And I said, is there anything that you would want me to work on for you? Me personally, as a father. And he said the same thing that his sister said. I said, okay. If that's the only thing I have to work on, then fine. I will work on it. Not guaranteeing anything, but I will try not to fly off the handle. You see, being a father is hard work. Being a mother is just as difficult as anything, because you got to carry a 9-pound baby in you for the amount of months that you have to carry a baby is crazy. Real men don't experience that. We can just sit back, crack open a brew or something, and that's it. While a woman suffers the duration of 9 months, and then once she has the baby, her whole life changes, her whole body changes. But yet, the father's responsibility is just that, being a provider. Now, it's like back in the 80s when I was born, both the mother and the father worked. Now, I'm not saying that just because you don't you can't be in your children's life because of X, Y, and Z doesn't make it. You have to make it right. There is no excuse for you not to be in children's life. You would have, if I have to lose an arm just to be in my children's life, I would. I would do anything to be in my child's life if that were the case. I will try my best to interact with Ifa Tunde when he comes back to the States, even if it means the alternative, because there are people who look up to him. There are people who look up to him, respect him, and live better lives due to him. But everybody makes bad choices. Everybody makes bad decisions. And for him to be this powerful, and for his situation to spaz out the way that it did, it's not a good look at all. I'm gonna do something that I often hardly even do, ever do. I can't even say that word right. It's never been done before. That 90% of the internet will never do. I'm going to pray for Ifa and his family. I'm going to pray for Dr. Umar and his family to somehow, some way come together. Now, the relationship part, you can forget about. Just the communication alone will set things straight. I don't know what it's like to lose. What do I want to say? I don't know what it's like for me losing a child. I don't even know what it's like when I was a child to lose, to not have a father in my life, because my father was always there. I mean, I need somebody to help me understand what can I do to better this situation, because I feel like I am a part of something that's greater than me. I just wish I could. I wish I could do something. Yeah, I just don't know what to do. I feel like I am a part of the fatherhood that needs to alert the fathers who need to be in their child's lives who are not in their child's life. And I don't mean no harm, but I'm not a rah-rah person. I'm not none of that. I'm just a regular old schmo who's on the internet, which is a hobby for me. But apparently people make it their job, which ultimately turns into a shit show. Um, I'm just not that guy. But I can make you famous if you piss me off. I don't. I try not. I try my best to understand and overstand a lot of things about fatherhood. My daughter will be 14 after my birthday in July. And she will be 14 years old. My son will have to wait until October to become 11. Now his life is going to be just as crucial as my daughter's, because they live in a city, in a state where anything can mysteriously happen, and I have to be the responsible one for them. Of course, their mother is just as responsible, but I'm gonna be mostly with them. Some days I'm mostly with them, other days their mother is mostly with them due to our schedules. I'm not worried about the mother. I'm more concerned about me. How can I be a better father? How can I help lead fatherhood to a better position in life? How can I be a part of something that mainly we're the ones that are responsible for putting a life into a woman's womb? We're the ones that are responsible for that, not anybody else. And so, like I said, I'm just I'm tired. I just feel beat up. I was stressing. I just want to know how I can become a better father. How can I position myself to be that, not only to be a better father, but to provide the type of resources that can help other fathers who, like I said, not in their child's life to become fathers. Now, like I said, in the case of Umar, it's pretty much over for him. But he has one particular daughter left that he needs to get on the ball with, because the other one is just, she's out on her own now. She's 22, 23. Um, if you if he stated this plenty of times, if you want to be in the child's life, then that's on you, bro. That is on you. Right now, you are being targeted just because people hate your guts. Is it? Dudes often say, "How you got the nerve to be talking to me about how fathers should be in their child's life when you're not in their lives?" Which he often says that, which I don't get. Okay, you keep saying that, but you're not doing anything to better your situation. And that's mind-boggling to me. How can I be so unwise? I just need help. And let's not, and sidebar, let's not talk about pandering to women, because it's like I said, most Negroes don't even like women. You don't even like the women due to the sound of your voices and how you act online. So let's not go there. Let's not go there. He wouldn't be doing all this yipping and yapping about cookies and everything else because you don't know how to satisfy your own lady. So let's not go there. But as far as this is concerned, I I can't defend this. Now, this is just a court of public opinion, right? But when the real truth comes out, and it will come out, the whole truth will come out real soon. We're what? This is Saturday. I'm just waiting on Monday and Tuesday. But I'm trying not to lose. I'm not losing any sleep over this mess because this is none of my business. But yet, I woke up. I couldn't. Really, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep because what if I am not the father I should be? That's why I asked my daughter and my son this question. I asked them this question. Am I a good father? And they both said, yes, you are a good father. That's the greatest thing in the world to me. I just got to work on one thing that they requested. I just got to wait till they're out the room or put a sound barrier in here so they won't have to hear their father go off on somebody who obviously deserves it, but they don't have to hear that. Other than that, I have nightmares about that. I have nightmares about not being the father that I should be. So this set me back. This set me back in a lot of ways. And they go to the best school in town. That's due to their mother. And I try not to miss no parent teacher conferences. I try not to miss. I missed one and I was upset. I was upset at myself because I had scheduled for work. I got scheduled for work and I couldn't take that off because it was Chinese New Year or something. Chinese New Year, there was nothing I could do about it. But I was just upset at myself. This world is going nuts. This world has gone crazy. I'm just tired. I'm tired and I need a break. I need a break for all of this. I need to figure out who I am. Umar, at some point, you're going to have to drop that ego of yours. and get with the real. We all need to help one another. We all need to help one another. Just please, man. This is this is not the way it's supposed to be. I didn't see that.
Hey,
Hey,
Jeremy.
all right. Yeah, not gonna.
How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm fine. What's going on?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, man. I haven't been listening to the show, man. I was just scrolling on YouTube, and I saw your stream here said emergency meeting. And I just clicked on the video, kind of hear something in your voice. I don't know what the issue is, or if there is an issue. I just saw emergency meeting, heard your voice, so I just want to hop up here and see how you're doing, man.
The emergency is that earlier ago, Umar, his daughter, I guess, did a TikTok video of her wanted to get to know her siblings, but she can't find them, so she tried to get a hold of them, and apparently he doesn't answer his phone for no one. So this is the only way that she can reach out. And then, of course, they go back and forth, and there ain't no excuse for this, but I couldn't sleep. So I asked my oldest a question, and I said, "Am I a good father?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Is there some things that I need to work on?" She said, "You're cussing, but that's about it." I turned to my son and I asked my son the same question, and he basically mimicked the same answers. But I don't know if I am, bro.
Huh. So wait a minute. Were you telling me that your children basically said that what they wanted you to improve was not having a potty mouth, and you don't
Pretty much.
believe them?
No, I believe him. I totally believe him because that's mostly what I do when people piss me off.
No. I
But
mean, no. What I meant was, no, I get that. What I meant was, We-On-Loc, was that you don't think that that's the only issue. Like, you don't believe them.
oh, I asked them, and they said that's mainly the only issue. So yeah.
Yeah, but it kind of seems like you think there's more.
Um,
I could be wrong, but that's the kind of sense I'm getting from you.
In my estimation, I believe that I could do more for them than I'm doing right now. It's just that things are kind of tidy up due to the head man in office. There are a lot of freezes going on, and people not. I mean, it's crazy, but I nearly knocked myself in the head over and over again. Say, what can I do better for my kids? I'm gonna share something with y'all that I normally wouldn't share. Every night when they're asleep, I'm usually in their room when they're asleep,
Mm-hmm.
and I pray that nothing happens to them. I would literally die for my children. I don't see myself. I don't see myself at all abandoning them for anything. Nothing.
Wow. I just want to say real quick, shout out to Ryder and Commander in the chat. Love you guys. But yeah, dude, We-On-Loc. Yeah, so I guess you exuding a lot of emotion in your voice. That's what I was picking up on. So I guess you're just having a moment where you're realizing how much you love your kids. Right?
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm just also asking, what can I do? How can I put myself in position to give other people the resource to become good fathers as well, without all the extra stuff, without all the rah and it just seems impossible. But apparently we're on this application just to do that.
I just came from a show. I came from the Words 9% show with Ryder and Commander. And we had a really good talk. Oh, you saw? We had a really good talk, right? But one of his taglines on this show is he has like a banner in the background, and it says, "A better you is a better us." And I wholeheartedly believe that. And so the thing is that I know that you kind of look up to Dr. Umar Johnson, and you believe in this message. Just about helping Black kids, helping Black people progress. Thing is, though, it's kind of like we don't realize it, but what we do with the Black people in our immediate vicinity is doing that. And it might not feel like it's enough because you're looking at the population. You're looking at a cumulative group of people. But the fact that you're there for your children and you go in your children's room every night when they're asleep and you pray over them and you wish nothing but the best for them and you try to do things to make sure they're good, like asking them, how can I be a better father, right? All of that stuff that you're doing in live time is going to carry with them as they age, as you pass on. They're going to be better people, Black people, that's going to have an impact on the world because of what you are presently doing. So, you can't be so narcissistic to presume your impact. And what I mean by that is, to you, it might not seem like what you're doing is helping the demographic of Black people. That's to you, though, but you can't see the bigger picture, right? You don't know the positive things you're doing in your children's life today, how that will affect Black people as a whole. That's what I would say.
And you're correct. It's just I don't want to say difficult. It's not too difficult, but yet it's a lesson that most of us have to learn to be consistent. And I know I'm very consistent with it, but it's just I just feel that I just need to do more. And the older I get, the older you get, the slower you get. So you try to maintain and take care of yourself and take care of your body. And I would literally move heaven and earth to do anything for them. I would.
And the thing is, you literally can't do that. You can't move heaven and earth. But your children, they know that you want to do that. That's what really all that matters. They know that you would do that if you could. I'm not saying to still not put your effort every day into making things great for them. I'm just saying, you know, I used to fall into this myself, the whole self-deprecate. I always forget how to say that word. What is it? Self-deprecating?
Self-deprecation.
What?
Self-dedication.
Oh, shit.
Deprecation. Deprecation.
Yeah, I always get that wrong. But kind of like looking down at yourself because you're not doing what you like, all you think you should be able to do. And I just kind of feel like, you know, that's a trick, you know, to make us feel a certain type of way as people, as men, as whatever. I think that it's hard to see the positive impact that you are leaving on your children or people around you, because it doesn't have like an immediate result to it, right? The positive things you do is going to be instilled in them, and the effect and impact is going to happen later down the road. So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to hop up on the show and tell you that, and make sure you were good, because you know I was hearing some deep We-On-Loc tones in your voice. Let me see if he's all right.
Thanks, bro.
Hey, man, I got to bounce. But God bless you, man.
All right.
And keep up the good work, man. You're doing great work with the kids and all that. Just keep it up, man. And God got your back.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
All right. God bless. Peace.
Blessed. Dark Lake Revive. Always good to see him. He is definitely correct in his statement. I can see my sister in here, T Pre. We have. I used to. Me and her used to go back and forth when I was in that sector of, and I'm like, yeah. But now it's like, we don't have to deal with that and stuff no more.
How's it going, man? How's it going?
How you doing, Ron?
Oh, good. What was the particular emergency? I was just curious about the title.
How to become a better father.
How to become.
Needless to say that I couldn't sleep. Normally around this time I'll be in bed because I got stuff to do tomorrow, but I just had to ask my children a question. And the question was, am I a good father? Just to touch bases with the things that I can improve on as a father. And both of them said yes, and both of them said the only thing that you should stop doing is, all that cussing that you do. And I said, I will try my best. But I feel like there's more than what meets the eye when it comes to fatherhood. Maybe it's low self-esteem. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think the timing in terms of the daughter coming out is it's kind of weird, because I remember before Lennon said he'd stop making Umar videos, and then Umar threatened Lennon or something. Now it's like, Lennon Honor said he had another documentary, and they'll be focusing like deeply on Umar's father stuff and Umar, and now we have his daughter coming out. But we already knew he was on child support and had 2 daughters. We just didn't we just didn't hear from the daughters. because we remember back in 2015, they all the way on Germantown Avenue, uh, preaching that soul vegan shit. Why can't this man see his baby? You remember that, don't
Yeah, I remember.
you? Yeah, exactly. So it was like it was kind of. I'm surprised it didn't come up or people didn't bug him about it that much. I think people didn't go on as hard as they could, but it wasn't visible. Now that you have a face and well, it's game over now. So he had a long time to prep up again to stop this from happening. Right?
Um, well, he's gonna have to deal with that once he gets back to the States. It's mainly it's mainly none of my concern because number one, she's 22, and I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that because that's his worry and the mother's worry. But what went about it, how it went about it, I don't like. I don't like it. I never did like it. Um, and see that's the one thing that woke me up. Is it? I looked in the mirror and I had to see what I'm doing wrong. It made me stress me out to the point where I had to ask my kids, am I the father that you want me to be, or do I have to make some improvements? And the conversation was just as simple, but with my oldest, it's not as complex. I mean, she said what even though she said what she said, my son, he is very simple. He was very simple. Just stop cussing. You'll be fine. Um, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, the fatherhood. Yeah, it's a good staple in terms of people's life. You know, like both of my parents, they had issues with their uh father. Oh, actually, my father had an issue with his kids for me, and then so yeah, fatherhood is definitely indicative of all the traits of a man. His control over the household or lack of control. So that's why people are going to be, you know, um, that might be a focal point of this documentary Lennon has. I mean, people put Lennon Honor through the coals when it came to his begging for his kids. Now it's Umar's turn, and he's going to get a little more his fair share. It is what it is.
Yes, he's gonna have to learn that lesson on his own. I can't help him. Nobody can help him but himself. Um, I wish him the best of luck, but this is going to have a severe impact on what he is doing. Um, me, I
Yeah,
can
I
only
mean,
worry.
yeah.
Say what?
I mean, it's not good that there's like no other content creator that's for Umar Johnson's school. So I think no matter what you think about it or you argue for content, like the people have spoken, or the lack of speech has spoken about the FDMG project. Like
How important is emotional support in defining a good father? Ah, that's a that's a very broad question, but I'm gonna try to answer it. Um, it's very important, um, due to the fact that I know we're all human. We're all human, and we all act in a lot of ways. But you have to have a equal amount of balance when it comes to fatherhood. It's not just, I'm an alpha, all this. This that's not always the case. Especially dealing with daughters, you have to have some type of feminine side of activated, and while still maintaining you know, your uh, your alpha, the alpha that's in you already. You have to maintain that, but like I said, everything has to be balanced and everything has to be in truth. Otherwise, you just be kidding yourself. And um, and another thing, I mean, you can't do what you did and expect a different result, because again, there are too many people out there who have these clips, and like I said, this is already a big stain in your reputation. And the only thing I can give solid advice from E5 to me is repair. I said this earlier. I said you need to repair this relationship between mother and daughter and take it off of the internet. This is nobody's business. It wasn't supposed to be anybody's business. When you three get together, make sure all phones and all internet is off. Y'all resolve this, because not only is it a stain, not only does it only this condition continues to happen, but what does it say about the Black community? It's a continuous struggle. It's a continuous struggle. Now, I can take his words and everything that he says, and I can just put it in my purses and make it my own. Just as like, not everybody loved Martin Luther King. Not everybody loved Malcolm X. But there was at least a handful of people who took his teachings and made it their own. And not just talk the talk, but walk the walk, and made something of the words that were spoken. You don't necessarily have to like a certain person, but I look at the person who speaks the loudest in the room. And just like a Derek Jackson, everybody liked Derek Jackson for some strange reason, right? But when he did what he did, and it's like, he's a bit of a narcissist and a jerk, but he's right in this statement. So I'm gonna go and apply it to my persons.
I would probably say you have to be emotional support. I think you have to be mentally there. You have to be cognitively there. Another phrasing of emotional support is emotional intelligence. You have to know how you're affecting, even if you care, and this goes more into it. You have to know if you're positively, helping somebody, or if you're just, nothing that you're doing is working. So even if something good, it might not be effective. I don't know if it was George Orwell, some white psychologist, but he said a wonderful thing. He said that the parent may love the child, but it's rash to assume, I think, the reverse, something of that sort. So yeah, you have to be mentally there. You have to have emotional intelligence, because every deadbeat father is not solely outside of the home. Some are inside the home, are just so caught up in work or their own ego or disassociation, from the mother, that the parents basically broke up or the dad's not involved and they're living in the same household. This is true for a lot of, older parents, which is why people don't look favorable on marriages, that much. Because if the father wasn't around, if he was around, there was that relationship, with the mom. If you're not an optimal husband, how can you be an optimal father? And maybe physical abuse between the mom and the dad. And unfortunately, that's so much of our people, of just America in general. So, it's not just about being there.
You're right.
Yeah,
you got
we
to
as a
show improve. But I just, like, I again I had to look at myself. It starts with me. I I felt this. I merely felt this way for a very long time. Um, just now coming out with this, and I know. Of course, I got support. I got support from my family, and they often say that you're doing a good job. And maybe it's just low self-esteem. But I see the future. That's spirituality. I see the future for what it is, and I'm gonna try all that I can to see that my daughter grows up successfully. I want to see to the end.
Hey, we don't
My
like me.
father.
You okay?
Hey, Tanya. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just spazzing out a little bit. That's
Yeah,
all.
well, this world's going nuts. Okay, that's all I have to say. But I gotta try to keep striving. Um, you know. But I just heard you up there upset a little bit, so I just wanted to calm you down, huh? Hey, so listen, we on Rock Nation. We're just in an island full of sharks, and they're just waiting to eat us up and spit us out. And we ain't got the equipment to stop these sharks. So that's how I feel sometimes. I know you feel that way too. That's just me. I'm in an island full of sharks that's ready to swarm up, come out of the water, just eat us whole. But I'm gonna try to find a weapon to get these sharks. I might get the biggest bazooka, uh, uh, a machine gun, laser beams. What else you got? Tanks. Um, tanks. What else you got? Helicopter. Oh yeah, I like that helicopter with a rocket launcher there. Okay, and then blow these sharks out of the water. Ta-da! And
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get me the biggest tank shark, repellent, and just blow these sharks out of the water and leave me alone. Thank you, and leave We-On-Loc Nation alone too. Well, I'll get a bigger tank. Ta-da!
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay then. So listen, just keep your head up. We are Rock Nation. I'm trying to keep my head up, but I ain't got a man in my life, so I'm a widow. But I'm trying to do the best I can on my own. But I like to say this, man. Listen to all the people, to all the sharks out there. Me, We are Rock Nation, and everybody else on here is going to get the biggest helicopter and get a bazooka and blow you sharks out of the water. Peace. So listen, man. We
Peace.
are Rock Nation. I like to say
Yeah.
before I go, in the famous words of Captain Murdoch of Lethal Weapon, I'm getting to over this shit, and you sharks are dead meat. Thank you. Bye.
Right. Um, she's so sweet. She is so sweet. That's that's what happens
Like
when you.
pep talk, yeah.
Yeah, she's a spark in my life. Just like so many others. And they say that the internet has no friends. If you look hard and deep enough, you might find a couple of them. That, that sounds like I'm in good hands. I just, like I said, I just want to see a. I- maybe I'm hallucinating. Maybe I'm bugging. I want to see a better tomorrow. Is that not? Is that fair? Is that
Yeah.
fair to just ask for a better tomorrow?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, shout out. I mean, you never know when you're gonna, inspire people, even if it's the most, mundane thing that you don't really think. I mean, shout out to the Umar Johnson sector. I think, after I deleted Facebook in the 2015 or whatever, Umar Johnson sector was like my only, window in terms of, social media, and then for the, talking to people. And who knows, maybe the Umar Johnson sector was a reason why I went to, California, so that, underbelly.
I stopped. I stopped going there a long time ago because I mean, no disrespect to people who are here, but it was just time to move on to different things, just be my own man.
Move on from what you move on.
Move on from the Umar sector.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I I couldn't deal with that anymore. But now it's more like, do I want to deal with the internet anymore?
You don't want to deal with me. I mean, yeah, I mean everything is reaching a crescendo. I think the whole, Umar and those Delaware and Morris Moyer, I think it's all gonna come to a head. I think, Umar, he might have had the great message, and I guess it's kind of like whether you stem towards the positive or the negative.
Hmm.
Perfection, but you can. It's pretty much free will. You can take the good, or you could do both. Whatever suits your desire.
Hopefully, you know, I'm gonna pray for him. Hopefully, he can
You hope.
take this lesson. I have to. Hopefully, he can take this lesson and process it and deal with it. I hope. I hope he does. But I can't worry about him at this point. I gotta worry about myself because I don't want to be on that. I don't want to be on that plane worrying about if this dude's gonna live or not if this plane crashes. I gotta put the oxygen mask on myself first. And
When everything about him. I mean, he's like a fuel air explosive, not just the topic, but how he talks too. He's like it's been so wild, so long that we've been on the subject. It's like maybe we can obsess over for a brief amount of time a positive thing. Something that's through and through positive. In terms of somebody or whatnot. Or we can talk rhetoric. People doesn't matter if you're
mm,
effective or not. People.
Real quick, what do you think is a definition of a good father versus a great father, or if there's any such thing?
A good father. I don't know about if you can sum it up with just good, or I think I probably explained it last time I spoke a couple minutes ago. The emotionally there, mentally there first. Good versus great. I don't know. It's not like being a father is not to be lustful mentally or the barbecue. It's hard to boil it down to good versus, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, okay, okay. Um, now that I'm more in the right place, um, not too high, not too low. I can go and be focused on what I need to focus on as not only a father but a husband. Um, I just
Mm.
hope, I wish the best for all the fathers out there, um, that can take life lessons and just apply it to their persons and see if they can make things better for not only for themselves but for their family.
Like I don't know how deeply, aware you are, I guess, behind, the scenes, but yeah. I mean, everything on the mainstream media, YouTube is, they act, you know, so that they don't interact with the, fabric. I wouldn't be surprised if all this Umar shit is fake, his daughter, father, whatever. I would be surprised. Like Elahio Bishop, like that type of fake. When I said that on Max V, someone who was flagging the Asonic, he banned me off of it. So like, there's a reason they call it the sector, man. There's a reason they call it the sector.
To be perfectly honest, friend, I don't know what none of this stuff is anymore. I don't. I don't know what none of this is. I mean, this is all a shit show at the end of the day. Um, I it gets realer for me when you spend 9 hours on the same subject, and it's like it's can we try to change the subject? Why don't we go into something in more detailed, something a little bit more different, something that no one has never heard before, and it falls on deaf ears, right?
And
But
I know, but I mean, if you don't know anything, anymore, like you said, TC might have said I was ridiculous, but maybe it's AI behind Lyndon Honor. Like maybe
this might
image.
be.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I low key, I've been the Jaguar Wright slash Alex Jones of this shit for a long time, like 19.
You with the Jaguar Riser?
I said I've been the Jaguar Wright slash Alex Jones of the shit of the Umar stuff.
Oh, peace and blessings. The word peace and blessings. I was about to say if you went into if you if you ever went into Jaguar Wright's chat, um, it's wild. It is definitely wild. Um,
Oh, that's
I
that's
think
that's well, I wouldn't say that's small fries, but I've been on soft white underbelly, so I've been on some heavy shit, not just
well, you know what? I'm I might have to take a couple of days, maybe a week off, and just to reflect on some things. And I just might be back on Sunday. I want to thank you for coming by.
Oh, no
And
problem. Sure, man. Sure.
um, you stay safe out there, and yeah, God bless. Thank you. Thank you.
You too, man.
All right. And with that, sorry to wake you guys up, but the word young, yeah, thank you for stopping by. I shall return soon. I should definitely return soon. Thank you, everyone, for sticking by your boy. Thank you.